She quietly forced rivals out of her way, choosing subtle influence and behind-the-scenes control rather than public controversy. While many stars thrived on scandal, she avoided attention, which earned her intimidating nicknames such as the Iron Lady long before the label became popular. One well-known rumor centered on a dispute with a younger co-star who allegedly confronted her during filming, after which the other actress's career abruptly slowed. Although never officially proven, such stories helped build Stanwyck's reputation for quiet power, one in which no one dared challenge her more than once. Beneath her reserved and distant manner, she showed strong loyalty to those she trusted, supporting their work with determination and commitment. Yet if she felt undermined or disrespected, reconciliation was almost impossible. Milton Berle, known to the public as Uncle Milty, carried a very different image off-camera. Viewers saw him as Mr. Television, the lively, fast-talking entertainer who helped bring comedy into American homes, but behind the scenes his exaggerated humor concealed a volatile temper and a reputation as one of the most difficult figures in early television. Berle rose to prominence in the 1950s through Texaco Star Theater, a revolutionary variety show that made him a household name, and his rapid-fire comedy and unpredictable antics turned live broadcasts into must-see events. Once the cameras were off, however, colleagues described him as controlling and overly sensitive, capable of exploding over minor inconveniences or perceived slights. He frequently fought with writers, producers, and fellow performers, and if he disliked a joke, it was not simply removed, as it could trigger a public scolding or even someone losing their job. Writers approached him with fear, uncertain whether their work would earn praise or provoke anger. Despite being recognized as a trailblazer, his authoritarian behavior often eclipsed his creative achievements. His envy of other entertainers fueled growing tension, and as fresh talent appeared, he became increasingly protective of his spotlight. Some insiders believed he intentionally undermined guests or rivals to ensure that attention remained fixed on him, and when performers such as Jackie Gleason and Sid Caesar gained popularity, he reportedly reacted with resentment behind closed doors. Away from the stage, his attitude continued to alienate others, with stories circulating of him belittling fans and service workers, displaying a sense of superiority shaped by his fame. He was also known to cling to grudges for years, even over trivial professional disputes. Although demanding and intimidating, Berle was respected for his relentless work ethic and his ability to deliver when it mattered, yet those who worked closely with him recalled strained relationships, exhausting schedules, and a constant undercurrent of tension. Mickey Rooney's public image shifted dramatically from wholesome icon to deeply troubled figure. Once celebrated as America's cheerful boy next door in the Andy Hardy films, symbolizing innocence, optimism, and family values, his off-screen behavior sharply contradicted the image audiences adored. As one of the most profitable stars of the 1930s and 1940s, he initially earned widespread respect, but increasing fame brought stories of impatience, self-centeredness, and verbal cruelty. Many colleagues claimed that success only made him harder to work with. He frequently downplayed or denied personal connections, even those widely known, including his professional relationship with Elizabeth Taylor. Although they appeared together in National Velvet and shared a close working history, he later spoke dismissively about her career and rarely acknowledged their past collaboration. His reputation for ego was legendary, as he demanded leading billing even when it was not justified and regularly interrupted scenes or drew attention away from co-stars. Directors struggled to manage his dominating presence on set, and producers often had to calm situations caused by his emotional outbursts. In later years, he faced heavy criticism for his racially offensive caricature in Breakfast at Tiffany's, a portrayal condemned for its exaggerated and insensitive stereotypes. Though he defended the role at the time, growing backlash followed him throughout the remainder of his career. Personal struggles worsened his decline, including multiple failed marriages, financial difficulties, and persistent rumors of substance abuse. His private life became marked by scandals, legal disputes, and damaged family relationships, and he often appeared unwilling to accept responsibility, displaying charm when convenient but lashing out whenever circumstances did not favor him. Orson Welles, The visionary, known for his vindictive streak, transformed cinema with Citizen Kane and was recognized as a creative genius early in his career. Yet beneath his brilliance lay deep resentment and artistic arrogance that distanced him from many peers. Behind his commanding speeches and innovative direction was a man who openly expressed contempt for others in the industry. Although his professional life was shaped by studio interference and financial limitations, private recordings and interview transcripts later revealed how harshly he judged fellow stars. In personal conversations, he described Charlie Chaplin as arrogant, dismissed James Stewart as dull, and labeled Bette Davis unbearable, comments that reflected a consistent pattern of disdain towards some of Hollywood's most admired figures. Even close collaborators were not spared, as he often mocked producers, writers, and actors who failed to meet his expectations, whether publicly or privately. His belief in his own artistic superiority created serious conflict on set, with crew members recalling a leadership style that shifted unpredictably between inspired creativity and hostile behavior. He demanded total authority while quickly shifting blame when projects encountered problems. Though respected for his intelligence, few found him easy to work with. Welles also carried long-standing resentments and frequently revived old disputes decades later, rarely offering forgiveness when he felt challenged or betrayed. This confrontational reputation reduced opportunities later in his career, as studios hesitated to employ someone who viewed himself as untouchable. Despite, and perhaps because of, his exceptional talent, Welles remained trapped in isolation, and as younger filmmakers gained prominence, he continued to criticize and dismiss them, often portraying himself as a misunderstood victim of the industry. Even in old age, his tone rarely softened. Tony Curtis, the self-absorbed star of the spotlight, captivated audiences with his handsome matinee idol image and sharp comedic charm, becoming a major figure in films such as Some Like It Hot and Spartacus. Yet those close to him described a man driven by ego, emotional distance, and an overwhelming need for attention, often at the expense of others. During the production of Some Like It Hot, tensions grew between Curtis and Marilyn Monroe as he became frustrated by her frequent lateness, unpredictable behavior, and the numerous retakes required. Although the film became a classic, Curtis later made unkind remarks about working with her, including his infamous comment comparing kissing her to kissing Hitler, which he later dismissed as humor but which revealed the deep strain between them. His controlling tendencies extended beyond co-stars, as directors noted his habit of challenging decisions and demanding additional screen time, even in ensemble projects where he still sought to dominate attention. While admired for his charisma, many colleagues saw him as self-focused and intolerant of criticism. His personal life mirrored these patterns, as he married 6 times and remained emotionally distant from his children. His daughter, actress Jamie Lee Curtis, later spoke openly about their complicated relationship, describing him as emotionally unavailable and their connection as lacking genuine closeness, and even after his death, she reflected that his presence in her life had been defined more by absence than affection. Curtis's obsession with fame continued into later years through repeated cosmetic surgeries, self-praising memoirs, and little acknowledgement of how his ambition affected others. Beneath the polished public images and unforgettable performances of Hollywood's golden age existed a far more complicated reality, shaped by ego, insecurity, manipulation, and power struggles. The actors discussed here helped build the film industry, yet their darker traits reveal that fame often carried a heavy cost, amplifying not only their talents but also their flaws. For every admirer who cherishes their most famous roles, there are colleagues, crews, and family members who remember a very different experience marked by emotional distance, relentless pressure, and backstage turmoil. In many cases, the same charm that captivated millions concealed a much colder truth. These contradictions are part of what makes the Golden Age so endlessly compelling, reminding us that even the most glamorous legends were ultimately human, often troubled, frequently difficult, and far from perfect. And if you enjoyed exploring these lesser-known sides of Hollywood history, remember to like and subscribe, share which actor surprised you most, and tell us in the comments if you believe someone else deserved a place on this list.